Okay, hopefully this is going the right direction now. Wow, that hasn't happened to me in a long time where the video wouldn't switch. But here we are, we're in the right direction, going the right way, so hopefully all is good now. All right, so if you joined me last week, you would recall that I did a fancy fold card from, now I forget the person's name. It's in my blog from last week. Wow Lola Creations, I believe. And she made a card very similar to this one here with the ladybugs. I changed it up a little bit. Last week we did a Valentine's Day card with the cute little meerkats. This week we're going to do the same fold because I just love it. Love it. So thank you for introducing that fold and for sharing that fold. This time I'm going to do it with the Honeybee bundle. And isn't this cute? So I can hear it. I must have volume on somewhere. But anyway, so we are going to do this one. And to do that, we will be using the Honeybee bundle. Okay, it's a really cute little stamp set. Corresponding dies. And in the celebration brochure, there is free DSP that corresponds with it. So I don't know if you noticed these flowers and this die. Look at this. Yes, you can cut out the flowers. Isn't that cool? All right, so we have, I'll just show you quickly the DSP. So it's black and white. There's some pretty florals, some pretty designs, cute bees and beehives, black and white stripes, lots of black and white. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Can use it for anything. And it's free. Free with a $60 order before taxes and shipping in Canada. Oh, for some reason my video is not working. Oh well. Hopefully you guys can still see. The other side, and it is a specialty DSP, so there is some foil. I don't know if you can see that shimmer in there. So the other side, again, more flowers, yes, that we can cut out with the dies. And these bees will also cut out. I believe this one will fit out on this guy there. So you can cut out the bees, you can cut out the flowers. There's two flowers here, one going each direction. There is some smaller honeycombs, some larger bees. So, and again, this guy here will cut out this one. And this one will cut out here. How cool is that? All right, so you can either use it as a gorgeous background, or you can cut out some of the bees and use them, or the flowers, and use them in your cards. So this is the DSP. We're going to be using that today as well. If I can get this. There's the last piece. Just some white and gold. Beautiful. Love it. So this is available while supplies last. And just with everything going on in China, with the people being delayed going back to work, some places still closed because of the coronavirus outbreak. You do want to make sure that you get any kind of embellishment or the specialty DSP, any of the DSP that has metal in it or shimmer in it, sooner than later, because I'm anticipating that we're probably going to have some supply issues while China is dealing with the health issues that are more important, that people are staying safe and staying home. So that being said, let's get started with this card. All right. So I will make sure that I put all the measurements of what we need below in the post when I post the video. Okay. I will edit the video after and put all that stuff in. I will also put it in my blog when I get around to blogging. And oh no, I had cut everything and put it somewhere safe, and that somewhere safe has disappeared. And now I don't know where all my paper is that I have pre-cut and prepared. That is not good. Let's go looking. It's probably hiding under my DSP. And here I thought I was going to be all organized. Found it. Thank goodness. All right. So to make this card, I'll just put that off to the side. We will need some crushed curry. So this is a standard piece of paper cut in half. So it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. We will need another piece of crushed curry, and this is 5.5 by 5, and along the 5 side we're going to score it at 3/4. Okay, and this is going to make our base for the card. So I don't know if you remember my video last time. Okay, but the card actually opens up backwards, so it'll open up like this with the top layer and then that layer opening this way. So that's why we have to score it here. Okay, we need a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 of Whisper White and a piece of 5 by 3 3/4 of the DSP, and I just chose this color here. Okay, some other things that we will need. We will need our layering circle dies, and I've taken them out for you to see the sizes. So we're going to need 4. Okay, these here are to make the large circle here and the scallop, and then these ones are to make this circle here and the scallop. All right, so we need those, and we need some gold foil paper and some black. All right, the other thing that we will need is the hammered stone 3D embossing folder, and that's for this outside piece here. We will need the ornate die. We use this little guy here for the embellishment there, or for the label there, or you can use any die that you have, or you can just even just cut a piece of paper. You don't need a die, but that's what I used. And then of course you'll need these guys. And what I did, and I did this beforehand, is I went to the DSP and I cut out some flowers with that, and I cut out a bee as well, and we're going to be using that. I also cut out a honeycomb out of the crushed curry. All right, so I did some pre-cutting so you guys don't have to sit here and watch me cut. All right, so I can't see if anybody's joined. If somebody has joined, unfortunately I can't see my comments right now for some reason. I will figure that out. I'm just happy that the video is going the right direction at the moment. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to move this out of the way so that I have room to work. We're going to glue this down because I'd like to get this before I punch it. I'm going to want to get the glue to dry a little bit, just so that, oh, here I'm making a mess already the first time the glue's out. Just so that we don't make a mess of our punch. Just give it a little chance to dry. Okay, so I'm just going to stick it like that. And put it to the side. All right, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take our piece of crushed curry cardstock, and this again is 5.5 by 5, and it's scored at 3/4 along the 5-inch side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to take a pencil, and I'm going to measure not from the scored side but from the other side. I am going to measure 2 3/4 inches. So hopefully you can see this on the camera. So I'm just going to go in 2 3/4, and I'm just going to put a little line there. And I'm going to measure 2 3/4 from this side. put a little line. And then I'm going to measure 2 3/4. Again, not from the side that's scored, but from the other side. I can't see this over the camera, but let's see if I can get around. And 2 3/4. All right. Put the ruler and the pencil out of the way. So now we have a pencil mark, which is going to guide us trimming this with our paper trimmer. So I'm going to bring the paper trimmer in. Let me move these out of the way so we don't lose them, because knowing me, I'll lose them and I'll be frantically looking for them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this paper, this pencil mark, and this pencil mark, and I'm going to put them both in the trough of the cutter. Okay, close it and give it a slice. So this is garbage. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Put this pencil mark and this pencil mark in the trough. Hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, line it up, close it, and we can throw that away. Then what we're going to do is we are going to take the largest of the straight circles here. Okay, and we're just going to center that so that we're pretty much equal distance around. We're going to run that through our Big Shot. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take the 3D embossing folder after the circle's been cut out, and we're going to just line it up like this with this on the outside. Okay, just perfectly like that, and run it through our embossing machine. And what we're going to end up with, ta-da, is a piece like this. So circle cut out through the embossing machine. This is not embossed. Okay, so that's what we're going to end up with. I just did it on camera so you didn't have to hear me get up and run over to my machine. I'm just going to put these here. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to glue this on. Okay, so I'm just going to add some regular glue onto the back of this. Okay, we're going to want to line it up so it's lined up perfectly on each end. Just like that. Okay, and give it a good crease with our bone folder because we're going to want it to sit down. All right, and it is thick because it's going through 3 things of cardstock. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a Post-it note and we're going to take our 2-inch punch and punch. We're going to make, this is just to help us guide where we want to do it so we can line everything up. Of course it's not going to work for me, is it? It's going to cause trouble. There we go. All right. And I do want to make sure I have some of the sticky part. Oh, and it didn't go all the way through. Oh, boy. Okay, we're not going to do that. You're going to do it much neater than I did. For some reason, it didn't cut very well. We'll just move that out of the way. There we go. All right. So we're going to line this up. Okay. I'm going to put that in here. And then we're going to take the punch, and hopefully the punch is going to work better. I'm going to have to get the paper out of here. Hopefully it'll work better now. And we're going to use this as a guide, okay? Because that would have been centered where we wanted it. And we're just going to use it as a guide and give it a punch. Yay, it works better. Yay! All right, there we go. So now we have a hole in the cardstock. Now we're going to take our DSP here that we had. We can throw that out, or you can keep it for scraps if you want. You do want to make sure that you don't put glue in the circle here. So maybe I'm just going to put DSP here, or DSP. I'm going to put glue here. So I'm not going in the circle and making a mess of my card, because that's something I like to do, is make a mess of my card. Okay, and then we're just going to line it up. Put it down, let it dry for a second. So I hope you guys have been able to get outside and enjoy the beautiful day. It's so nice to see the sun. I had to go pick up my car. I've been having car troubles all week. Doesn't make me feel very good. They couldn't find what was wrong with it. So it's going to be another week of not knowing whether I have a car to do my errands and get to my appointments and get to work with. But we'll just see how it goes. Hopefully it's nothing serious. They couldn't find anything. So, all right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this around. We can see where we want the punch, and we are going to punch. And this time you're punching through, if you get it lined up, you're only punching through one layer, but if you don't get it lined up like I had, then you're punching through a few layers. All right. I just realized that I forgot a piece of white DSP that we need for the inside. So I'm just going to run over to my scrap over here and get one. I do have some of these pre-cut. Thank goodness. Sorry about that. Okay. Now normally I would do all of my stamping before I glue down. With this card, I'm probably going to glue it down before we put everything out together, but let's get started. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our flowers. I've already pre-cut these. I would probably color them before you cut them, but I didn't want to have to bring the Big Shot in. So I'm just using my Crushed Curry Stamping Right marker, and I'll just give it a cute, just a quick little color in. You could use blends if you want. We don't have a Crushed Curry blend, but you could use a Daffodil Delight or So Saffron. Oops, stay in the lines, don't color like I do. Yeah, so my car, they changed the battery on it. So we thought that was the problem, and then the next morning it was dead again. It wasn't dead, but it just wouldn't turn over, so we're not sure what's going on. But of course, it wouldn't do that for the mechanics. They had it turn on no problem, and so they kind of look at you like you're crazy, right? It's like, no, it would not start. I do know how to turn my car on. So let's just hope that whatever it is, it's fixed. Okay, so we colored the flowers. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to color the bee. So I'm going to just take my light smoky slate. I'm going to take the brush side, and I'm going to just color in the wings. Okay. So yes, it's DSP, but you can still color DSP. You can cut DSP and you can color with DSP. So just give it a, again, this is the light smoky slate, and I'm just coloring in the wings. All right. Doesn't take too long. There's not a lot, big space. You do have to be careful because it will bleed a little bit, so you don't want to get too close to the edges. Okay, and then I'm going to take my dark basic black blend, and I'm going to color the bee's abdomen. So it looks like it's black and yellow or gold stripes. And that's it. Well, actually, that's not it. That's almost it. for the coloring. I'm going to take my Wink of Stella. Love the Wink of Stella. And I'm just going to give some glitter to the wings. Now, there's not a lot coming out of here. Hopefully it's not finished. So always move your wink over to the edge when you're refilling the ink. And I'm just giving it a little push. You can see it coming down. Okay. If you do it over your project, sometimes you'll just get a big glob. Oh, see? Right there. And that would be on your project and it would ruin it. So I'm just going to pick up that. And paint with it. Look at that glimmer. Isn't that cute? Oh, love this stuff. You always just need to add a little touch. It just finishes it off. Gives it a little pop. I'll have to be careful I don't put everything in that glitter here. I'm going to pick up some of it. What a waste. Oh, that's so sad. Oh well. That's what happens. Better there than on my project. Okay, so the bee is ready. We'll just set that aside to dry out of my way. Now, I had gone and pre-cut these. So again, it's just using the layering circle dies. You just take a piece of black DSP, run these through together, okay? And it'll cut out this outside and you'll end up with the middle that you can use on another project. And then I did the same thing with the gold foil, just ran these two together and ended up with this, okay? So I'll put the measurements for these circles in the blog post so you know which ones to use. And now all we're going to do is glue these on, and it just adds a little finish just to the edge here, okay? So you don't want to have too much glue on here because it'll make a mess, so just add a little bit around. I really think that we should move to a 3-day weekend. What do you guys think? Just by the time you get laundry and groceries and all you're running around, you just never get time to relax. So I think a 3-day weekend would be the best. Hi Martin, how are you? Where in Canada are you from? I'm in Guelph, so I'm just outside of Toronto in Ontario. There's a bit of a delay here, so hopefully you're still with me. So again, we're just putting a little bit of glue on here. Not a lot because you don't want to make a big mess. All right. And I'm gonna put that around the inside there. We'll just let it sit for a minute. New Brunswick. Oh, did you get all that snow when you were a few weeks ago? That was crazy. I haven't been out to New Brunswick yet. I would love to. My cousin's in Nova Scotia, so hopefully we'll make a trip out the East Coast. The furthest I went was where was it? I forget now. Oh, I had to live there for a while actually. When I was pregnant with my first child, I was doing a postdoc placement. Rivière-du-Loup, that's where it was. That was the furthest out I got, but I was 8 months pregnant, so I wasn't up to going on any road trips. All right, so we're just gluing this in here. Okay, normally I would do all my stamping first. We're not actually going to do a lot of stamping, so hopefully it'll be okay. But because this card is so important on placement, I wanted to make sure that it was glued in and not moving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my my brain isn't working again today. Whatever this thing is called. Somebody help me. You know what it's called. You can make a mess on it and it won't mess up your work spot. So I'm going to add some glue here. Again, you don't want too much because you don't want your whole project to be sticking. And if you put too much on, it just makes a big mess, which you can see. It gets all over everywhere, all over you, all over me. It's lots of fun. All right, so you can see the glue there. I'm going to move this out of the way so I don't get the rest of my project glued up. But basically, I want to put this in this little hole here, okay? And I just want to make sure that I can see the beehive from the hole. So I'm just going to hold it down. There we are. And then this guy, once he's dry, we're going to pop him up and put him right on here, and then he'll be showing through. All right. So when I made my sample card here, what I ended up doing was not putting a sentiment here. But if you remember my card that I did last week, I ended up putting a sentiment on this layer. So I'm going to change this one up a little bit. And instead of putting this here, this is a stamp that comes with the stamp set. What I did was I stamped it on. I've cut it out already just so you guys don't have to see me do this. But what I did was I cut out the beehive that comes with the dies because that gives me a really good, it follows the stamp. Okay, so if you look at the stamp, it follows the stamp perfectly. So all I did was I stamped it. Now, when I did this, I just stamped it and then I lined the beehive up because that's easier. But for the sake of being on camera, I did the beehive first. I'll just show you what I mean because it's a little bit. So you just line it up like this, and this gives you the perfect semicircle at the bottom. And then I just fussy cut the top and tried to get the same dimension. Okay, try to follow the same curve for the top. It's not going to be perfect. If you know me, it's good enough. Nothing is ever perfect. Some people it'll drive them crazy if it's a tiny, tiny bit off. But for me, that's pretty good. And then all I did was round the edges off here. Okay. Get rid of this. I have glue on my, see, I get glue everywhere. It's on my scissors. I haven't even used my scissors yet. Okay. And there we are. So let me move all this garbage. So now we have a sentiment that we can put here. Okay, it'll hide. We won't be able to see it. Let me do it on my actual real card instead of... Oh boy. So now we can put our sentiment here. Okay. Hide it from in here so that you don't see it from the front. And we're going to glue it down. Okay. So let's glue that. And again, I don't want to see it, so I'm kind of eyeballing it. That's not eyeballing it very good because it's out in the middle of it. Okay. So I'm just trying to hide it here. If you guys can see it sticking out here. Just going to push it in a little bit. That's why using the Tombow, that's perfect. Using the Tombow is great on projects like this because you have a little bit of time that you can move, all right, without destroying your project. So there we go. We have the inside flap done. So let's get the inside done. Okay, so I'm going to use the same sentiment, thinking of you, sweet friend. And again, probably going to put it right here, and then that way I can write a nice little note to whoever I send this to. So I'm just going to ink up my pad. I do need to re-ink my momentum. It's not very juicy. Put that down. Oh no, it's too juicy though. We'll just pretend that's not there. Hey, we'll just do it. Oh, okay. So you're close to Riviere de Loup. It was beautiful there. I was there though when I was wanting to be at home with my husband, but it was part of my PhD. And I was working at a company there, so I had to go and do a work placement. It just turned out to be not at the best time. But it was beautiful. I loved it there. I can't wait to go back. Okay, I'm just going to stamp it, celebrate every moment. Again, I got dirt all over them. I cut this out using the ornate framelit dies. So I've pre-cut this. It would be easier for you to stamp first and then line it up and cut after. But just for the camera, we're just going to pretend that's straight, okay? It's hard with the camera in front. You can't see straight down, so it's hard to line it up. So we're just going to pretend that I stamped that straight, aren't we? Yeah, that works. Works for me. I'm going to pop it up, I think. I didn't pop it up the first time, but I think I'm going to pop it up this time. So I'm just going to pick up two. You can use the big dimensionals. I'm just using the minis here. Lift up the backing. This is a really good trick if you have horrible nails like I do. My nails break and they're fragile. So I use my Take the Pick tool to do that, and it is really helpful. It took me a little bit to get used to it, but all right. So that's cute. Now we're going to put the flowers. We're just going to glue them going around in a circle here. So let me move this stuff out of the way. So how much snow did you get then in that storm? We've had a really weird winter here in Ontario. We haven't had a lot of snow, and not really a lot of our really deep cold that we get either. It's been different. We like to ice fish, and my husband is very upset that we haven't been able to get out yet. Now the ice is now good. We could go now, but usually we're out already before February. Usually this is the end of the season coming up, but we haven't even been out once yet this year. All right. And just put this one here. So again, these flowers come from the DSP, and I just cut them out using the dies. The dies, the bees and the flowers coordinate with the DSP, which is awesome. Love it. Stamping Up really knows how to make things work so that you can have more than one use. 30 inches. Oh, that just makes my back sore thinking about shoveling 30 inches of snow. Ooh. I guess you guys are used to it though, eh? We're not. We don't get that much snow here. We get snow, but we don't get big dumps like you guys do out on the East Coast. All right. So now I'm going to, all right, this one's not going to work for me. Sometimes they're stuck so good that I can't lift it up. I'll just put a new one on there. Oh, of course it's not going to work for me. All right, I'm going to have to use my yucky nails to try and use my nails. struggle. I struggle. I'm trying to get my nails to grow, but they are so weak and fragile. All right. I did it. Yay. Struggled. So I'm just going to put the bee on just on an angle over. Okay, we do want to make sure that we can close. All right, so celebrate every moment. Wishing you sunshine and happiness. Thinking of you, sweet friend. So there we go. What do you think? Love this fold. Absolutely love it. Did the cards again. I showed them at the beginning of the video, but I'll show them again. These are the ones that we did last week. These are on my blog, so if you want directions for that, I will put all the measurements for this card and all the supplies at the bottom of this post of the video. I'll go in and edit it when I'm done. And yeah, I think that's about it for today. So thank you for joining me. And I hope you enjoyed this week's card. And as I mentioned earlier, with any of the DSP papers that have, so the specialty papers that have metallic in there, any embellishments, anything like that you absolutely love and want, it's best that you order them soon. We did have a notice from Stamping Up that the Chinese government has extended closures because of the coronavirus. So we may in the future end up having a little bit of delay with getting some of our embellishments and the specialty paper that has the metallic paper within it, because we do get those sent in from China. So if you have something favorite on your list, make sure you do order it soon. Otherwise, we may have a bit of a delay if we do run into the problems that we're anticipating with the coronavirus. And unfortunately, people have to be safe, and there's nothing that anyone can do about it. The government's not allowing people to go to work or to go out of their houses at this time. So hopefully people are staying safe and staying healthy, and I will see you next week. Have a great week. Talk soon. Bye.